Part 1. They sold her with careful words and lowered eyes. Barren, they said, as if it were a flaw in a horse's gait or a crack in fine china. Miriam stood beside them, hands folded, gaze fixed on the dust at her feet. She was 23, old enough, they claimed, to know what fate had denied her. No children meant no future in that house, no reason to keep her mouth fed. So they traded her dowry for a handshake and sent her west with a man who barely spoke. Elias Crow watched the exchange from beneath the brim of his hat. He was a rancher shaped by long seasons and longer silences, known for working alone and asking no favors. He didn't flinch at the word Barren. He had not come seeking heirs or legacy, only a steady partner to share the land and the quiet. When he offered Miriam his hand, it was rough and warm, and he said simply, "You'll be safe here." The ranch sat far from town, tucked between a river and a line of cottonwoods. Miriam arrived at dusk, the sky bruised purple and gold. The house was modest, clean, and smelling faintly of soap and wood smoke. Elias showed her where things were, then left her alone with a lamp and the soft creak of settling boards. She unpacked slowly, unsure what parts of herself belonged here. Each night, she lay awake listening to coyotes and the river, wondering if she had been sold into another kind of loneliness. Days passed in a rhythm she hadn't known before. Elias rose before dawn and returned at sundown, always leaving bread or soup warming on the stove. He never pressed her, never asked about the past. When he spoke, it was about weather and fences, about a heifer close to calving. Miriam learned the land, learned the names of birds and the language of clouds. Her hands grew strong, her breath grew easy. Still, there were things Elias noticed and did not name aloud. How she paused when lifting heavy buckets. How her face drained of color when the heat pressed too hard. How she folded inward at night, as if guarding something fragile. Once, while mending a tear in her dress, she pricked her finger and swayed. Elias caught her before she fell, steadying her with a gentleness that surprised them both. "You ought to rest," he said. "I'm fine," she replied quickly, the words practiced. He nodded, but the worry stayed. He began to watch more closely, not with suspicion, but with care. He noticed how she avoided the doctor's wagon when it passed. How she kept a small tin hidden in her trunk, filled with dried herbs and folded papers. One evening, while Miriam was at the river, Elias cleaned the house and found a letter tucked behind the lamp. It was written in a cramped hand, addressed to no one, and it spoke of pain that came and went like storms, of a body that betrayed itself, of a diagnosis given too quickly by men who would not listen. Elias folded the letter back where he found it, heart heavy. The word, Barren, echoed, suddenly cruel and small. He understood then that whatever had been sold to him was not the truth, but a wound carried quietly, and a woman taught to believe she was broken.